All right, looks like you can hear me. It's always such a strange statement. But the soundbar moved. We'll see if my voice holds up. We had a tournament yesterday, windy. So made it to the championship. We're 2-1 in the regular round, and then in the last round in the championship, we lost to the same team we lost to in the regular round. We took them to overtime in the first game. In the second game, made some stupid mistakes. 5-3 loss. Like our that team is like our kryptonite, I swear. But anyway, so we'll see if the voice holds or not. Um, sound is good, fire bad. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, everybody's back from the hospital. So sorry that I had to bounce last week with all the sick kids. Mom was in the hospital. Mom came out of the hospital. Mom went back into the hospital. We think she it's funny. We think she actually broke herself out because she's like, "Hey, I'm in parking lot A. Come pick me up." And like that's not where they discharge people from. So we think she broke herself out on Thursday. But of course, with if you guys have any experience with RSV, it takes a little while. It says you're contagious for 7 days from the time the symptoms start, allegedly, and that started for my mom on Sunday. Um, yeah, she gets in the car on Saturday when I went to go pick her up, and coughs with no mask on. And I looked at her, I was like, "What are you doing? Like, are you serious?" I was like, "Where's your mask?" She's like, "Oh, I left it inside." I'm like, "I'm gonna kill you. You're supposedly still contagious." But anyway, I think everybody, Kip made it out pretty good. Reese came through unscathed. Asher is still coughing a little bit. Um, Melissa, obviously, you know, she pretty run down too. Um, but mom is finally doing a little bit better. She's home. She's been there for 2 days now, and she's doing good. So we'll see. We'll probably be caught up on sleep by like Thursday this week. Is I think what Melissa and I were joking about last night. But anyway, um, is to give a major economic speech. Yellen. It's a major economic speech, and it's yellow. So yeah. Um, so some data coming in today. It's very interesting data that we're not getting the movement that I would think. Right. German preliminary CPI, right, on a monthly basis, down. It was supposed to go up. It didn't. It held. And then the Spanish yearly CPI also, it basically was unchanged. It was supposed to go up, but it didn't change. But yet we are seeing a little bit of European strength, particularly in the euro pound, which you don't expect to see. Um, the German GDP also down, not as much as expected, but again, still not necessarily a positive sign. But yet, again, European getting a little bit of a little bit of oomph. Um, dollar, kind of mixed, right? It's kind of strong versus the Aussie pound and yen. I'm sorry, the Aussie pound and euro. But then you're seeing some weakness in dollar CAD. Um, dollar Swiss up a little tiny bit. Dollar yen up a little tiny bit. Pound yen up a little bit. Not not massive amounts. It's okay. It's all right. We'll get some data coming in later on this afternoon from Canada, and maybe that's why we're seeing some movement there. Late night. We're gonna get it. What? Oh, come here. You messed it up. Here, I fix it real quick. I'm telling you, man. YouTube. Melissa yells at me for having YouTube Red, if it's still called that. Here, that he fixed. Oh, well, then pick something else. I don't know what you want, but I can't do it now. Here, you want little angel? Here, take this. Go. No, you're not having coffee. He wants my coffee. You want this? Um, wow, it's too loud. It's gonna be fair. We'll get some data out of Japan. Japan obviously not going to. I don't think we're at the stage yet with Japan raising interest rates, but honestly, I think we're probably pretty close. Well, here, pick something different then, but I can't deal with it today, bud. Here. Um, I think they're getting there. There's just been too many statements. It's just too weak from where it is. It's getting a little bit of a reprieve, but things are creeping beyond where they should be. So, again, eventually you have to kind of change your stance. What they've had is, not necessarily. I would say it hasn't necessarily worked. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get some statements that are inflammatory, and we may see the dollar yen, pound yen, Aussie yen, those currencies kind of get jammed back to the downside because of something that we hear. All right. Hold on one sec. Hold on one sec, guys. Um, Yeah, actually only has a half day today, or 2 hour early dismissal today, so not the end of the world. But of course, his mom's like, "Hey, is this Chromebook at your house?" I'm like, "Nope." Whose Chromebook is it? It's Asher's. She's like, "Oh, well, how about the car?" I'm like, "I don't have the car. Melissa has the car." I'm like, "I'm not gonna, Monday morning's busy for her. I'm not gonna ask her to leave work to go check the car. Like, this is on Asher." And she's like, "Well, he needs homework." I'm like, "I don't care." Um. Anyway, I think this the BOJ information could be pretty decent. I'm setting up a bunch of different short trades. Tomorrow morning, we have all kinds of data coming in, starting early with the CPI data on a yearly basis. Now the euro on a yearly basis, flash estimates and the core number, not quite at 2, but not far off. I mean, a 3.1 on a yearly basis. Again, not far from where kind of the mandates are. And then the core number at 4.2 coming down from 4.5. It's like, I think, I don't think there's any reason out there that they would need to raise at all, right? GDP was supposed to be a little bit positive coming in at 830, and then the cost index supposed to hold where it is. And then we have, some S&P composite stuff coming in right at 9. So, and Chicago PMI right afterwards. But the consumer confidence number at 10 tomorrow may put a little bit of weight into the indices. And again, we'll talk between now and then. But overall, it's funny. If this was like core data in the United States, absolutely without a doubt would be a red number, but it is orange, right? Again, not as big of a mover, but you know, right now the big, all eyes are really looking at the Fed because some of the words that they said could, not would. People are convinced that, and I saw an article this morning. Wall Street's convinced that they are not going to raise this month, but they're going to leave it open that they could still raise it. And I'm wondering if it's going to be like, you know what, we'll skip the October, November, we'll raise it, and then December, obviously nothing. And they're going to supposedly cut it by 0.5% next year, but I think they'll hold till the end of the year to be able to do that. So, yeah, kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. I would actually almost rather prefer they raise it now. I mean, if the economy's doing great, they're like, oh, the economy's booming right now. Um, Great. If it's booming, then the Fed is doing nothing wrong. Why wait longer? We could just raise it a little bit and then cut it sooner, right? I think that's a better, getting us to, it's kind of like, because the whole family's sick here, right? Antibiotics. Why take 10 days of antibiotics if you can cure it in 4, right? If you could take a more powerful antibiotic and out in 5 days, better, wouldn't that be better than 10 days or 20 days of antibiotics? Yeah. If you could get, inflation back to that 2% target where they want it to be faster, and then we cut and normalize things on the other side, why not? Right? I mean, obviously the economy, the labor market, they've all shown they're resilient. So I don't know. I feel like we should raise and then be done. But I feel like maybe, I don't know. Right now, it seems like Wall Street thinks they're going to pause and then raise. But I don't know. Surprise comes in. I'm going to be like, yeah, I think that's the right call. So we'll see. We'll see. That's going to come on over here, right here. So yeah, we'll see. Um, that lunch last week. A lot of people are looking at that and yeah, trying to dissect it. They're like, well, he didn't say would, he said could raise it, and he mentioned this, but it's still too high. And they're like, he's walking that line, right? He's tiptoeing on both sides of it. So yeah, we'll see. VIX. Right now, no major jumps. We saw the market, the VIX raise up pretty crazy on Friday, and then it pulled back. And really, I mean, our last broadcast was Wednesday. We missed Thursday, Friday. We're kind of right where we were on Thursday, Friday. It's kind of like, yeah, we did all this chop back and forth and went low and then went up, and then we came back and we're kind of stabilizing right around that, that 20.5 mark. So, yeah, I don't think there's really any major signs. And again, right now, all the indices are sitting there in the red. Not the red, the green pretty deep, so we should see this start to deteriorate further down. The dollar pulling back a little bit. Last week we were looking for a pop from this level, and you can see, bam, we got it on Friday. Right at 10:30, we pop back up again, and we're kind of sitting there right now. And this is what we normally see. Sunday into Monday morning, we tend to see dollar weakness come in because the U.S. market is not open. And now that it's open, we'll see if that continues further. And a lot of this is probably people reading these news articles that, hey, you know what? Fed's not going to do anything. Right, where the market before was like, I don't know. But a lot of news articles are saying that this is Wall Street's belief. So, maybe it's just a retail trader trying to catch up to Wall Street. But the big question is, are they going to sell it really, really hard that the Fed's going to do nothing, weak dollar, and then all of a sudden, bam, surprise, they raise it. A lot of money to be made in those things. And remember, where we're at, I mean, I don't want to say worst case scenario, but, I think the Fed has the ability to go one more raise. I don't think there's any chance in the world that there's 2 raises coming in. There's probably one more. They mentioned last time a majority of people thought we needed one more to really get where we needed to be, right? Um, I think we got one more. 0.25 is what I think we got left, right? I don't think there's that chance of 0.5. I don't think there's anything that can happen that we would get a 0.5. But at an area right here, again, are we going to hold? We've gone down kind of the same buying point. There's this little area right here, this basing right around 106.15 that if we do push down again 10:30 time frame, we could start to push back up again. So big question is seeing all these articles. I mean, the Fed was pretty clear. They're using anything they can. It's Powell said that the could versus the would. Um, Again, very typical Wall Street move. Nah, it's weak dollar. Sell dollar. Get out of that one. Weak dollar, weak dollar, weak dollar. And all of a sudden, bam, there's a surprise. Like and there's a massive amount of movement on there. So again, it's something that happens, right? Yeah. So all the indices, there we go. All the indices, pretty decently in the green, right? All up over 1%, which is awesome to see. Crude down at 84. Now, again, is it really down? It's red from where it was, but we were sitting here on Wednesday and we kind of went up and we mentioned that there was, obviously sellers coming in there. What did they do? They found those sellers and they went back down. They found the 82.71, which is an area we had talked about before. And then we came back up and we grabbed those same sellers. And we came back down and found the buyers and went back up. And then we're kind of sitting in that same area. So we really haven't changed. We're sitting there at 84 right now. Again, a minor psychological, being double zeros, it is, but it's not a super important one. I don't know. It's kind of interesting with everything going on in the Middle East and stage. I think it's called like the second phase or whatever they're calling like ground war. The United States, again, they came up with a new transitory term. I forget what it was, but like aggressive defensiveness or something like that. Basically, us shooting missiles into Syria. I'm like, yeah, that's going to go over well. That they were forced to shoot missiles in there, but they're not aggressive. They're not aggressive missiles. They're defensive missiles. Yeah. We didn't really see major spikes up in oil or anything. We haven't heard about sanctions or anything. I hate to say this, and I kind of mentioned it before. Originally before, we had OPEC Plus managing this supply over here in oil. And what did we saw? They're like, listen, the demand is not there. The China demand is not there. We're not going to increase production. We're not going to do anything like that. And what are we seeing? We're seeing oil prices come down and they haven't changed anything, right? They haven't started producing more. I mean, we're, I guess each day we get closer to December when they're going to reevaluate it. But with the price deteriorating in the way that it is, I mean, where's the median point? I mean, I'm not inside those meetings, but is there any reason to increase supply? Do they want it to crash back down to 60? No. Does any U.S. company want that? No. I mean, I'm sure the government wants to because at the end of the day, it's like, well, screw Russia. But yeah, it hurts us too to the same extent. Natural gas, and it's funny. Natural gas down big. But again, we know we had this, the contract switch. And again, this is why it's like, really? That jumped it all the way up when we pushed back down again. So again, we're playing with that. That $4 mark right now versus last week we were playing with the $3 mark. So it's a 334. I'm sorry, not $4. It's down 4%. I think that this probably continues to deteriorate down again. You see natural gas falls 4% as long-term forecast sees warmer temperatures coming, right? I can tell you this, yesterday, it was weird. Like 2 days ago, it was like 70 something. Yesterday morning started off super cold. I started with just a t-shirt and a pullover, like a windbreaker type thing. Got there, it was cold, put my sweatshirt under the windbreaker. And then after that first game, took the windbreaker off and wore just a sweatshirt. And then I took the sweatshirt off and went right down to the windbreaker. And then I went to a t-shirt. Like I went back to the windbreaker thing again. Again, Maryland weather, she's drunk here, Mother Nature. But seeing it down, again, I think it's down more just because of the contract switch more than anything else. Now, gold holding right below that 2,000 mark. Again, a lot has happened since then. We had this big push up on Friday, this big kind of smash above 2,000. We mentioned that 2,000 was closer than 1950 or 1900. We're there now, and I think where gold is. Remember, gold's in a weird position, right? And again, we'll break it down further, but where gold is and even silver right now being above 23, we've had these big spikes. Actually, you can see that this just spiked up recently this morning right at 8 o'clock. I hadn't seen that. It really fought hard at 23, and I think we're pushing back down at 23, and I think we probably hit it today in the afternoon, or when this, when the dollar push does push back in again. So I do think that comes back down again. Look at the Aussie. Now, it's continuing to push up. We were sitting over here. We were looking for raises. We talked, two small areas. Wednesday night, we finally found the bottom down here. We said, look for a red, green, red. I'm sorry, a green, red, green. We got the green, red, green. And what has it done? It's retraced all the way back up. We're pushing through. Again, a little front run, a little hit, a little hit, a little hit. breaking through that 78.6, and we can just take this and we can reverse it in the other direction. Um, haven't really left the trajectory of this. I think again, if we want to have this continuation, right now it's weak, 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 weak. If we do get a little bit of a dollar pullback, and again, could it turn here? Yeah, could it turn here? I mean, we had a level we were talking about over here as well. This kind of whole, step, 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 step. Two decent pushes, and right above where we are, again, we're approaching that 9:30, 10 o'clock time frame. Monday morning is where that dollar strength piece rolls in. Um, if that comes in sometime soon, there is a turning point here. And if it does pull back again, you can see here, we kind of hit it, we hit it, we hit it, we based it, and it pulled back again and hit it. So, I mean, we know this is an area of interest. There's a little base here, pull back and punch, and there's a 23.6 sitting there. So, if this pulls back down again and loads up, there's a trade here that may not be horrible to take this long. Now, again, do I think, the Aussie's in a better position? No, but I do feel like the market is somewhat being manipulative. I do feel like the U.S. market is being a little bit manipulative right now with this interest rate rise on Wednesday. And again, maybe we see this pull back, and maybe we see it until the surprise statement, and maybe that surprise statement comes in, and this thing is all the way back down to 63, or maybe even 62. Yeah, maybe we test lows down here at 62.75. So, where we are, I think right now we'll see what happens. Again, Sunday night is not the best time to figure out where the trends are going to be because you're missing a big player. The big players in the market now. We'll see where it goes, whether they continue with the trend. You can see it's getting a little bit more choppy. If it pulls back, though, I don't think that's a horrible continuation trade higher. Just be cautious because, again, we know we have sellers sitting up here. And really, this entire area from here to here is sellers, right? It's this entire area. So we could see reversal at any time, but if it does pull back down, load this one up. And I think it's a decent long trade from there. Also, again, where it is here, again, kind of the same thing. We wrote it all the way down. It hasn't hit the 78.6 yet. Really, really close, but you're seeing it's having some major problems right now. And it's the same thing, the step, the step, the step, and the big, strong push off. So it's an area we expect to see reversals. And again, it's hitting sellers right now. And in fact, in 7 minutes, this is a lower high right now. It's like, wow, we're kind of stabilizing. Is it going to push? And I would say, yeah, it's getting really, really close. Running fibs in the other direction. I'm going to shrink this. Yeah, it's the same. Very similar base trade, right? And again, we look for a reversal there and there. This one, Harry Pottered it. It's good. This one, again, push back to the downside. Put that one up top. Better? Yeah, that lines up a little bit better. Hmm. 231. Okay. We're gonna have to look. 20 pip zone. It's a little bit big for where the confirmation is. What I was thinking is if we get a reversal here, right? This is a 10 pip zone, right? If we get, it punches up and 10:30, it starts to push back down again. And then we set up a long trade here, a continuation. Again, 10 for 30. I like my 10 for 30s. But it's going to require. Hard part is Aussie dollar and Aussie yen both have an area here with confirmed sellers coming in. This zone of being 20 pips is a little bit high for me. Um, it's not a bad level to take a short off of. If we can time it with like a 10:30, great. It's a big zone. I'm not going to take a 20 pip risk. We kind of need confirmation at the top with that red, green, red. Um, It is not the ideal spot though. I gotta say, it's just a little bit too big based off of the buyers that are here. But if we do hit it and you miss the trade coming down, again, there will be people that are running again the most recent low to high up there, that kind of pivot point, looking at the 23.6, and there is a base and it's decent. There's a rally basing and then a pop up, and again, it may on the way down, it may stop and punch in. Not quite a Harry Potter trade, but you can see right now it's a decent spot, right? 23.6 level back, the 50 is backed, and also the 61 is back. So overall, there will be a lot of people looking at these different levels in here. And again, all the fib levels have a level of basing right at it. So it's not a bad setup. We're not quite there yet. And we need about 20 more pips to go. But the Aussie dollar, Aussie yen, both coming in at the same level where there's reversals possible. Um, Euro dollar kind of surging up. And again, here's from Friday. Again, this is from last week. You can see we hit it and push back down again. So, I mean, it's out now. We talk about the basing in here. What happened? There's all your basing. There's your drop. There's your touch. There's your touch. I mean, there's multiple opportunities in here. You can see there's one there. There's another one that occurred right here. So multiple opportunities off of that trade. We talked about where the base was, right? I'll remove this because you can over. We said, is it going to be higher? There was one up here. And had you moved this up here and taken it there, right? Had you done it from here, you were also good. So it didn't matter which one. We were looking for the base. There was one base there. There was also another big telltale base here. So if you didn't catch it here, you caught it over here. So multiple opportunities to take this from the 105.65 down to the 106.40 or down. So, and again, it kind of reversed exactly where we thought. So new week, let's clear all these off just so we can get them out. Again, a lot of basing did it over here too. Let's pull this. We don't need that one anymore. We'll take the bottom side. Let's see what we got. Let me hit the 78. So let's clear this so we can just get all this back stuff off. All right. So yeah. So this one's an interesting spot because you got this going on right here. And, again, the 50's in there. It's not, there's kind of two levels sitting in here. Um, hmm. This one has a level on top of a level. Just got to get through it. It's unfortunate that this hit right at that like 9:30ish time frame. Honestly, they're both of them are okay levels. Neither one of them is truly on. Obviously, there'll be sellers in this 50, 61, 8. You can see we've already kind of hit it once. We're pushing back up towards it again. And again, this is waiting for the same thing. We're seeing the Aussie dollar. We're seeing the Aussie yen. We're seeing here. Dixie, what are we going to hit it in the Dixie? Let's see. Yeah, we're kind of, it's got a little bit more to go. So, yeah, I mean, right now the dollar's lined up kind of the same way, right? We kind of need the confirmation that says, okay, bam, the dollar strength is here. But there are levels sitting there. None of them are horrible. I mean, again, I know it's already pulled off of this one. And right now with the red, the green is actually higher. We're still in that uptrend. We don't have the confirmation to pull that trigger. But I really think, I don't know. I think this one's a little bit stronger if it's able to punch through. But again, it could be here. It may be in the level. I mean, we're barely touching it right now. So I feel like in the next hour and a half, I feel like we're going to know whether there's a euro dollar short today. And it's not, again, I like both the levels. I kind of like where it is in the chart. I like the pullback. Again, the big push. Yeah, the European market. Here you go. Look. There's your 330 candle right there. 330 was the low. 334 o'clock. So it's been straight up European weakness. And again, that's what we typically see. And it's 70 pips. It's got a 70 pip LET. So it's an entire day's worth of movement, average day's worth of movement in the European session, right? Without any US influence. So I feel like it's due for a pullback. It's just which of those zones are we looking to take. So and it's got a decent enough space before we have buyers coming in. So yeah, I think in the next hour, hour and a half, again, look for a European short on this one. Euro pound, again, it's going up. Again, here was your touch last Wednesday, really, really late at night. We'd mentioned that one. Again, I'm just continuing it across. We couldn't talk about this last week. You see, we pulled back down, and now we're back up in that same area again with that kind of hitting into the sellers. again, once this starts to flip, again, the euro dollar is also in a position. So, we're seeing the dollar index get to that area where we're seeing a flip. We're seeing the euro pound at least over here in that same area, and we know we've got a bunch over there as well. So, um, yeah, I would say again, euro pound very high. The news today really doesn't, for me, justify it being stronger. So again, I think this is more of a turn, and again, another reason why that I would lump this in. Oh, I was like, why is Anna kind of calling me? It would be that your daughter's not at school today. Yes, I know. Euro yen actually already starting to turn off that point. Let's see, it's run fibs on this one. Did it hit fibs? Did it get help? It did. It did. Yeah, there was a zone sitting right in here. Let's use this one. There. I'm gonna jump it around. Let's see. What is the? Oh, there's not a. I thought there was a 10 o'clock one today. Maybe I could wrong, but yeah, it's a lot of. See how that spiked all the way down and they're spiking back up. Let's see. One sec. It's a 40 pip candle, and it's bouncing back and forth at 10 o'clock. The question is, that I wonder what there was. There's something. Is there something small? No. Oh, here you go. There you go. There you go. We talked about this. That I said I feel like they're not, but they're going to start talking about what it would look like. There you go. 10 o'clock. Yeah. So that's, and again, seeing this pull back. What did we just talk about? It was tentative for today that if they mention it, we should see these things shoot back to the downside. Let's see. Did it also do the same thing? Yeah. Again, not up where it needed to be, but again, trade not set up. We'll see if this holds. It may. Honestly, it probably push. I was really hoping we get that. I mean, there's again. I don't think they're changing, but just the mention of it. Look what it's doing already. Yeah, look at that. Okay, we can clear these off from last week. This one went down. Didn't really no entry, no entry. It did the base here. Sloppy. This one, this would not have been one you guys wanted. At 10 o'clock. No, you wouldn't have taken that one. Let's put that across for that purposes. There, I'll take that off. We have a clearing wick down. Um, we would take that like 15. That's not a horrible position. That's 307. So it's more here. I can put it 3.01. Hmm, bad position. I like to. You know what? Back there. If that's the case. Give me the normal thing. Oh, I don't want to do it now. Remember I got around it last week. I hate that. I understand why there's two factor, but what's going to be next? Three factor authentication? Like, am I going to have to like scan my fingerprint, use a retinal scan to send myself an email? Like, come on. I'll have to fix that later. All right. So, it's funny. Last week I was able to get around that by deleting it, put a new one on, and putting it. So it's funny that it wants me to do it now. Maybe they fixed their problem. So yeah, again, I can't disagree with this. I just said it 30 minutes ago that I feel like BOJ is not changing, but they're going to talk about what that's going to look like and how, and we're going to see the yen go crazy. And The yen's going crazy. So yeah, so Uncle Warren must be listening to our broadcast yet again. How much was his push down now? 70 pips. Almost 70 pips, and it has a daily tier of 107. So yeah, it's hard to disagree with this one right now. Pound dollar. Let's see what we got pound dollar wise. We had the push down, a bunch of front runs off of it. Okay. Again, this area was big. Let's clear these off. We can run this down now. A lot of wicks in this one. This one's got a lot of ugly in it. Steps. Steps are out. Yeah, we based. Went through it. Okay, that one's good. Don't like that one. Push. That one's out. 78. Let's remove that. That one is still live. So let's run this right now. Um, we're in an area with sellers right now, but do I love these sellers? Not really, right? I mean, yeah, there's a base here, and I mean, yeah, there's this, right? I mean, I guess if I needed to draw it, I'd draw it there. So yeah, we're at an area. Do I love it? Not really. Is it going to get any help from fibs or algorithms? Nope, not really. Um, It's not even there's nothing even back there. So I mean, it's an area of sellers. Probably. I mean, if you want to shrink it, you could go there. Um, I don't think it's the worst turning point of the morning. But again, with some data coming out on the yen, I think there'll be some swings above that one. Look at this. 2 hours ago, dollar holds just below 150 ahead of busy central bank. Pack news week. Right. That was 2 hours ago. And now magically, what does the yen do? I love the market sometimes. But anyway, yeah. So pound yen, we're probably in an area where there's reversal. I don't love it. It's all wick play up here. So I want something a little bit more substantial in that one to be able to turn and flip it. If it does start pushing down again, there will be a little bit of a hiccup right here. But after that, it should be able to run all the way back down into the 120.88 range. So there's about 60 pips worth of movement to the downside. But right now, just with the wicks, it's a little bit more dangerous. I know it's confirmed, but again, it's purely wicks, right? And wicks can sometimes be, you know, they tell us a lot, but at the same time, they also don't give us anything substantive. Okay. Pound yen. Am I surprised that it's going down now? No. Mentioned it earlier. Any statement from the BOJ like that would probably cause that. Right now, nothing matches up. But you can see magically from the Thursday, the last kind of real push. Magically, it started the turn, and then it factored right into the news. And actually, again, also a wiki area, but you can see with the confirmation we pushed down, we came back up, and there's where it is, which happens to be the 61.8 and left this one to go to the downside. Again, great trade. Again, it's not like 61.8 traders knew that the BOJ was going to make a comment about adjusting what their policy stance is. Again, that's not data that's out there, but again, you can kind of see it. It just happened to be that the market saw confirmation level basic confirmed 61.8, stack it all on top of it, holding BOJ, bam, straight down. So kind of goes back into the camp. It does the news really matter? The answer is no, but the news acts as a catalyst to move price where it was going to go ahead of time just faster. Well, that again, there's your setup, and it's actually out. You can. I don't need to draw. It's more than a 1 to 3. So what, Cap? What are you complaining about? Right. All right. So there's not much we can do with this one right now. I think be cautious with this one. This one will tend to move the most. It's got a 137 daily ATR. It's pushing back down again. Japanese yen, retest 150 ahead of the BOJ and all these pairs. And that was 4 days ago. So it's funny. The stories still are all pertinent. Again, once we get more details about this one, again, I do think the BOJ, after like 2 decades or 2.5 decades or whatever of doing nothing, keeping it low, I think, again, they're going to have to combat inflation like everybody else. They'll probably use the same methods everybody else does. So, again, I think there's changes coming. The yen will be pushed back down. It's too weak. It's actually hurting Japan at this point. So, yeah. And it didn't even have to wait till this, right? So, we'll see. But right now, let this one wash itself out. If you got this trade, great job. I mean, from that level, 80 pips. 80 pips, I mean, it's a heck of a trade. Heck of a trade on Monday morning. Dollar CAD. All right. So here we go, dollar CAD. So we had a level. We talked about 138. You can see we hit 138. We pushed back down again. We started basing. We pulled back down again. You're like, yep, hit it again, hit it again, hit it again. But we're unable to break it back to the downside, right? That 138 number. But we'll take it off now. I'm going to remove it just so we can get some clean draws and make this one a little easier. And again, whenever we've not been here for 2 days, it's kind of hard to kind of play catch up with it. So I don't mind kind of giving it a little bit more of a clearing. So we're hitting the 23.6. So there's a little level here. It was a level at 8:30 on Friday. It's okay. I feel again, it's 10:11. We're talking about 10:30 reversal time on a Monday with nothing but dollar weakness going to the overnight. It's not oil strength coming in. We know that oil is also deteriorating to the downside. So it's purely just kind of a dollar kind of manipulation. I do think the dollar is kind of due for obviously a little bit more strength today. Unfortunately, there's not a great zone to draw it off of. There is a base here, obviously, a push, a base, and a pullback, and that's what it's playing with. It's actually broken it just a little bit. And again, even with the fibs, this is just not a strong enough. Remember, I like fibs to confirm. I don't use fibs as an entry. They're just a confirmation if there is a zone there. Um, so, there will be people buying it right now. I don't disagree with buying it, but I need something more substantive than just a magical percentage number that's drawn out there. But there will be some pop off this one. And again, I like the 1030. I like the area. It's just, there's not a strong enough demand zone for me. So there's other opportunities out there that I think are better right now for me. At the top, there's not even anything really on the top here that I'm like in love with. It was Friday afternoon late. So that's gonna tend to diminish it as well. We can draw it, but it's not really. Oops, I'm gonna put it there. I mean, there's small touches Monday morning, European session here, so it's an okay area up top. I don't love it. Again, unfortunately, it was formed Friday afternoon, Friday night, so not really the best levels for what we want to use. We like to have levels formed in times when central banks open. Excuse me. All right, so dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss, let's see, pulling back about 8 o'clock this morning, pulling back down. You can see we had the hit here last week. Wasn't a bad runner, and then we came up and used it on the other side as well. Let's just clean it because, like I said, we weren't here for those, so there's no point in debating it. It's using this 78.6 level. That's what it rolled off of from last week. You had this level from Wednesday. We had mentioned that before with the test here and being 78. I don't think you're not out yet. Let's see. It's close. Look how close it was. So 2.85. Three is sitting right there. There's three of them. So you got really, really close. But in all fairness, if you had been looking for the short on this one, I wouldn't have been as worried about this one, but this was a pretty decent kind of pop. You would have had to been saying, hey, listen, I need to take profit before this level. Buyers are going to come in. And they did. Buyers were unable to break the bottom. So those buyers actually held. So that's where you would have been kind of looking for, hey, listen, I need to be a little cautious with this one. And yeah, I mean the buyer saved it. So yeah, I mean right now with it pulling back in, little risky if you're still in it. Again, just trail your stop on this one, but it's almost out. And again, it's a level from last week, so I'm not going to really give you much on this one. Let's put fibs on it in the other direction to see if anything does line up, though. Kind of use them again. Yeah, it's bouncing off the 23, so that's the problem it's having. This is one of those cases. There's supplies on there. You already flipped, so it was at target, but it's like, oh, you may want to put this one a little bit before 1 to 3. You can see a decent area of buyers in here as well, and there's obviously a basing and a touch right here at the 50. So I think probably what we're looking for right now would be a target down here. If we can get the price to come down, that we can potentially take this one for a long. If we can get this with news, 89.70, again, decent spot. From low to high, if these two hold, there's basing here. It came back up, used it, and then was actually a pop off of it. And the 50's on the front run side. So I like those. I think that's pretty decent. 89.70 is a decent target. And then reversal. And if we could time that with something like the jolt, again, Jolts, the forecast is 9.2. It was 9.6. It was higher. If this Jolts data is actually a little bit on the upper side, if it goes like at a 9.4, that should be a strong thing. Again, Jolts has been like the bane of the Fed's existence here. So, yeah, maybe we push back down and then we pull the trigger. And again, this is Wednesday. There's all kinds of drama on Wednesday. Um, so yeah, not a bad spot. 89.70 on that one. Well, yeah. Any surprise? And again, it's funny. It was holding firm, and again, you had all the craziness over here. It's like, oh god, and magically look, up, 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 and then there's like a big explosion candle, right? This explosion candle was Thursday morning, right? That was a 96 pip, move, and that brought it back down again. Now magically this morning the yen is like, yup. So literally since the peak, 174 pips. So not bad. And it's funny. We were playing with Tuesday. Wednesday we were sitting here, and we were sitting right there at the same time. So it's funny. All this went up and down, and we talked about pushing lower. It did go higher, and then now it got kind of driven back down again. So I actually think this is the right move, right? Um, Again, I thought earlier I mentioned it that I expected them to say something that kind of helped bring it down, and I do think it's the right thing. The yen is the only one that doesn't ever raise. They've maintained that. I mean, again, they're not getting up to 5%, so let's not get too crazy. But instead of being that minus 10, do they go flat? Do they go 0.10? Do they go maybe 0.25? Right? They've never really. It's been forever. Not that people are suddenly going to flock because that's a great interest rate, but it does obviously help curb inflation just a little bit for them. So we'll see. Again, this is one of those ones. Be super cautious with it right now. Obviously, the yen is, a lot of assumptions baked into this one. So yeah, not much else you can do. Okay. Let's look at crude. So we looked at crude a little bit before. We're basically where we were Wednesday. There's not much difference with it. Um, right now, let's see. Yeah, it's just still that. Right now with crude, overall, indices are definitely pulling back a little bit. They were all up decently over one. Now they are pulling back, and I think the realization is like, could the Fed raise again? And people are getting scared. Honestly, I hate that the market does this. Having that, I mean, the Fed is only raising because the market has been so resilient, right? GDP numbers look great. Um, there's a lot. People prey on that fear, and I feel like that's what's happening right now with the markets pulling back. Oil, same thing. Oil is we're kind of holding the same area that we were. I wouldn't say there's a major trend one way or the other. I still think we need news. You could say muted view of oil extended into fresh week. I would agree. I think that's a great news article because that's really what we're seeing. We're not seeing much trends from even with Thursday and Friday not being here. We're in the same area, right? Um, what's going to be the driving factor of this? It's really going to come back to China. We need China to come out with data that's like, "Yup, we're starting to build back up again." And I really feel like China is running out of steam. I don't think they're going to go back to their 18% growth and craziness that they had for many years because they were stimulating it like crazy. Um, but until China starts going in that like strong, super strong economy again, we're seeing expansion. I don't think there's any major factors right now that are going to drive oil. The fear that we're going to go into recession, that the Fed's going to do too much, again, only pushes us in this downward direction. So, yeah, it's down, but we're still in the same area. It's more sideways than anything else. Natural gas, I talked about it. Again, you can see really since Friday night, we haven't moved, right? We had all this up, and because of even mentioned this, right? And what has it done? Nothing, right? Since Friday or since Sunday evening, we've really done nothing. What is it doing right now? It's doing nothing. When we talk about muted, I mean, we're in this little tiny area. I mean, this is, since it's open, we've basically been in this little kind of sideways channel. So, no major movement unless there's a pipeline blown up somewhere. I would expect this to deteriorate and pushes back to the downside. Again, warmer forecast, right? It's kind of one of these like, oh, we got global warming, or I can't say global warming anymore, right? It's climate change, right? Because of climate change, right? Climate change, it's warmer. You're not getting that natural gas, right? So again, kind of a fear device. But I got gas last week, so seeing it higher, I'm like, yeah, it's okay. If it goes to 6 right now, it's not going to affect me for a while. So yeah. Gold. So gold again. 2000 is basically what 23 was before. It's going to be a big psychological number. You see the big spike and it pulled back down again and started the fight this morning. And now we're chopping around 2000. Um, Honestly, I would not be surprised if we're talking about the 2000 number, maybe even a little bit above on Wednesday. Going into Wednesday, I would not be surprised. Now, the question is, are we going to get data that is good or bad on Wednesday? And when I say good and bad, it's kind of like, is it going to be is it? Are they going to raise? I guess it's a surprise thing. If they raise, gold tanks. If they don't raise and say, "Hey, listen, we're on track. Inflation is dying." Again, I don't. Even if they don't raise, I don't think it's. I don't know. I feel like that's a huge mistake. Like if they don't raise and inflation rises, which I think it has a very high potential of doing it if they don't raise. Um, I don't know. I think right now they're relying on gas a lot. We saw those energy costs go up. Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a trade the next day or two. I think we are 2,000 or a little bit above 2,000 going into Wednesday. And I think Wednesday is giving us short opportunities, but we got to see what happens in the next 48 hours. Again, that JOLTS data, I feel like the JOLTS data could really throw a monkey wrench in. If the job market stays strong with JOLTS data, it's really hard for them to. It's like, wait a second, the JOLTS data keeps going. It's coming lower, but it's still double what we need. There's still a lot of job pressure, right? Still a lot of job pressure. So, um, yeah, yeah, I don't know. I like there's a bear set up here somewhere. I don't have it yet. If you're going to draw a top in it, I would say that there's a little confirmed zone right there coming up a bit higher. It's at 205 is 205 out of today's range. No, it's only $5. So, not necessarily the worst of levels, but again, we're going to do we have a bounce back and forth and then a big push? Yeah, I think that's possible. Oh, thank you. Thank you, buds. Yay, thank you. All right. All right, silver, kind of the same thing. You're seeing silver's already taken off more. It's still up from where its spike was today. Can we get back to 23? Hmm, probably not. I think we probably slowly work our way back down. It would have to move a lot to catch up to gold today. So we'll see. We just, like I said, we need somebody to pull that trigger on the dollar. Right? We need someone to pull the trigger on the dollar. Once you see that dollar strength return, or once there's any comment or news that is substantial enough that the Fed, gives the Fed like, hey, listen, if the Fed raises, it's showing that we can. I think this crashes below. Um, Big question is if we are sitting here in 2 days, if we're sitting above 23, where do we go with it? If we're sitting at the 23 mark again, I do think it's a silver short. But next 24 to 48 hours is going to tell us a lot. Like I said, tomorrow, again, employment cost index, maybe we get something there. Maybe the S&P, we get something out of it. Maybe the consumer confidence. Again, if consumer confidence is higher than the 100, right? Um, Maybe we see this one pull back again. So yeah, I think this is a slow tier, but no setup on this one. Yeah, it's pushing down. It's really trying to find a bottom in this one. Again, what did it do? It's down here. Yeah. God, it's like, ugh. All right, what do we got here? It's funny. It's up. It pulled back. Um, yeah. I mean, let's see. How bad did they trap people? Hide it from Butts. It's pink. He's gonna know exactly where it is. Okay. He wants to color. Can you get him a piece of paper so he can color too? Here, here. No, you're not gonna get the markers. All right, hey Jen, I have 5 more minutes. Can you just give me 5 more minutes, please? Thank you. Get Buds a piece of paper and get Buds a piece of paper in the other room. Um, I don't think there's enough substantive data today to really make this one go crazy, right? Wall Street rises, mega caps boost ahead of Fed verdict. I mean, here's your 930 candle. Here's your 930 candle right here, where this green starts, right? There's your Globex high. So what happened? 930, it started going above, and people saw this and were like, yeah, let's go. Buy, 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 buy. At 945, we peaked, and now we're seeing price collapse back down again. So, somewhat of a trap of people that saw this one. It's like, oh, if it closes above, let's go. And yeah, and there's sellers over there. Um, yeah, it's really not the worst point. There's really no data right now driving any of this. This is literally like, let's just manipulate it and let's whip this back and forth. Um, Again, is the yen what happens in the BOJ? Does the BOJ really affect the ES? Not really. Right. So it's hard to say that this is coming directly from the BOJ. So what are you doing, Jen? Go. Give Buds Buds, she got a piece of paper for you. Go color. Here, you can take this one here. This is a colored pencil. She has all the crayons. She's got all the good stuff. Here, take the colored pencils. We just cannot have markers. Here. Go in the hallway with Buds. Go in the hallway with Buds. So yeah, as far as opening print goes, you're not at a level confirmed in the overnight. Not much in there. If anything, there's more of a potential for down here at one. Kind of where we're hitting now, but I mean, again, we're sitting inside the range from where we opened up on, we closed on Friday. So, not really. I mean, I would have been super excited with the price up here, right? NQ, what do we got? Looks exactly the same, right? 945 spiked. Actually, 945 is again, it's the peak. It's funny enough, it ended up grabbing the gap. It grabbed the gap and then turned and pushed back down. So we're actually lower than where we were. I know it's. I mean, there's your nine. Here's your 930 open. You're actually in the red for the day if you'd gone long at the open. Not really confirmed overnight. Mirror top on that one. Not interested in it. There's obviously buyers sitting off from here to here. So could you have gotten long? I guess you could have tried from this level here. Did it even touch it? It kind of, depending on how you drew it. If you drew it from there, kind of. Um, Again, very quick manipulation up and down. Let's see on this one. Is there anything here? 845, 915. I mean, same thing. You broke right through the high. There's your Globex high. The 930 candle went right above it. Went up, found sellers, and it's pushing back down again. Not as bad though. And then Russell actually, Russell deep in the red. 915, and same thing. There's your Globex high. There's your 915. It punched through, went up, and found the same sellers that were here. Right there are your sellers from there, and there you go. This one got ugly real quick. Ouch, that probably hurt. So again, they're all kind of Globex traps, right? It's going to be a positive morning, and honestly, I don't think there's any reason for the markets to be super negative. S&P index might be a scary October, leading to a daring November. It's just going into it, everyone's like the Fed's going to pause, Fed's going to pause, Fed's going to pause, and it's like, man, I don't know. I don't know if this is quite justified. Is there any other data that I'm missing? That anything else coming out? I mean, this is not readjusting. And again, they're readjusting on Tuesday, and that was enough to already move the market. I mean, is Yellen saying anything? Get your popcorn. It'll be gripping. No. Let's see. Forecast, inflation. No, no. So honestly, I think this is just a good old fashioned. We don't know which way we're gonna go. Everything is great. It's good. Everything is awesome, and it's like, okay, they're in. Hit the button. Boom, right to the downside. Again, all these looks like we're finding buyers down here. Again, buyers, buyers. Yeah, this one's got a little bit more room to go. It's the most resilient of all of them right now. And then Russell again, filling a gap from Friday. So there are buyers and profit taking all kind of the same spot. So yeah, as far as opening print goes, I think they're all risky. Again, it's all the same kind of Globex traps that we've been talking about lately. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and again, if you're in the Russell, not a great place, right? Poor you. I mean, if you bought at the open, we're like, hey, this is good. Yeah, there's your 930 candle. That's what your Russell trade looks like right now. So it's nice that you're like, oh yeah, it's green on the day. Not really. There's your open. Oof. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Again, Monday morning. That's what we're gonna get. All right, let's go ahead and give the drawing. So again, because I missed 2 days, we'll do 50 the next 2 days in a row. Ernest was the winner on Wednesday, so he's going for 100 today. I will give you guys to the 2:45 mark. I always do that 30 seconds for everybody to get in. Oh, Melissa finally messaged me back. 3, 2, 1. Closing it down. All right, winner today's drawing is Ernest. He takes his 2. He gets his 100 back today. Where is Ernest? Right here. He gets his 100. Trying to formulate that comeback story. All right, so with that, I'll be back on tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Again, we got some big headlines coming. This is going to be a big week for trading. A lot going on. So again, keep yourself peeled. Again, having again alerts. Again, I have to go in there and adjust this so I can get my two-factor authentication. Again, I feel like I should be able to opt out of that if I don't want it. Right? I guess I get it while they have it, but it is what it is. So anyway, I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. See you guys then. Have a good trading day today, and I'll see you later.